guys, welcome back. I'm Top Life Musician Drummer, and today we're going to do like a short book review. So in this book review, we're going to be talking about 52nd Street beats. So if you don't know this book, you probably because you never even realized this book exists. So this book is really cool. So this is not like it has any examples of like drum beats or any notation at all. What it does has is a list of recordings. It has a profile list of some of these really modern jazz drummers, and it even says in-depth profiles of modern jazz drummers right here. So you might ask yourself, why am I watching this? Why am I concerned about this book now? And this book is actually given a really deep profile about some jazz greats like Elvin Jones, Max Roach, Art Blakey, any drummer, jazz drummer you can think of. And it's not really a thick book at all, but it does look like there's a lot of great information in here. And you might be thinking, have you even read the book? Yes, I have. Actually, I used this book during my Texas State days for like getting a good research about some of these jazz drummers, where some of these drummers well known for. And this is a really great book just to get an understanding of why was Tony Williams so great? What made him so different? And this book tells you why he was so great and so different from any other drummer. So I'm just going to give like some examples on here. I'm going to talk about the contents on here. So there's not really too much about the author. The author doesn't give himself, like, he doesn't talk about himself at all. So the person who made this book was Joe Hunt. So there's really not too much information about him, but he did make this book. So it has an introduction. It talks a little bit of jazz history. Now, jazz history is super important, especially in the early days, because you want to know how this stuff came about. And most of the time, I kind of feel like drummers, they don't know the history of their instruments. Our instrument is actually composed of different other regions. And so it's really important to know the history of stuff, whether if it's the drums, cymbals, drummers as well, because who's the earliest drummer you can think of? That's a good question. Good question. And so usually a lot of people don't even really know the true answer. And the true answer is like Baby Dodds, but really he was one of the first documented people that we know about, because we really didn't have too many documents about what was the first recording, what was the first song in America, because everything was coming together in America. So it talks about a little bit of early jazz history. It talks about early jazz, the swing era, swing to early modernism, development of modernism, late modernism / the avant-garde, and the postscript to from 1970 and beyond. And it has all these dates on here from 1900s all the way to 1930, 1930 to 1945, and so on and so forth. So he has a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, no, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops, I miscounted. 7 like principal modern jazz drummers that he thinks are, which I agree with his list and all that. Pretty much the list is Kenny Clarke, Max Roach, Roy Haynes, Art Blakey, Philly Joe Jones, Elvin Jones, and Tony Williams. And the last thing is a drummer discography, which is really cool to have a discography. So I don't want to spoil too much with this book, because I'm not sure that's going to be plagiarism, just giving away his content on this video. And I don't want to do that. I just want to go on the surface, let you know about this book. This book exists, and what is my viewpoint on it. Because I have this book, I have a copy of this book, and I'm going to give you my viewpoint about it, to the honest truth about this book, or any book that I do, and let you know, should you get it or should you not, based on your skill level. And for this book, I recommend this for someone who's interested in jazz and wants a deeper understanding. And I wish I had this book in my early time, to where that I was knew why these drummers were great, because I didn't know how to study some of these greats in the beginning. because I didn't know what kind of learner I was for the instrument. And now I realize I'm a visual learner, and listening is a little harder for me, a little bit, but I still work through it. I work through listening. I do listen to records, but I greatly benefit from watching people. And because you can't see how they're playing instruments, how they were playing. So try to figure out what kind of learner you are and all that. That's one thing I wish I understood. But I'm also a reader too, and if someone has already done the homework for me and all that, it sounds bad, but if someone has already done the writing, then I'm just going to read up and see why this person was great. Now, the discography, he has such a big drummer discography, like from page 51 all the way to 104. So he has a big drummer discography. So where is he getting all this information, you might ask, from this book? Well, in the introduction, he actually says where he gets all this material. He actually gets it from Modern Drummer Magazine. He actually gets some of these things from the New Groove Dictionary of Jazz. And just a lot of, he lists his resources. He lists his sources. He lists his sources from various places, reliable publications. So he cites his stuff. He's really good about this book and making sure that everything's correct. So I highly recommend this book if you're like, I want to know more about Tony Williams, or I want to know more about Elvin Jones, like from analyzing their playing. So this is a really great book to dive deep on some of your favorite players that you like, and new players that you probably never heard of before. Like I'm just going to mention one thing from the discography section, and we're going to say Teddy Stewart. Who's Teddy Stewart? Well, he played with Dizzy Gillespie, Sonny Set, and a little bit of biography, and also some album titles too, like legendary big band and from Swing to Bebop, Buffy's or Dizzy Gillespie, has the label with number, date recorded, format, country, oh wow, French, Japan. So this is a very detailed book. So you can get this book from this publication right here, and this is just a high, well-known jazz publication. So Jimmy Eversole, really great saxophonist. So he has his own jazz publication because he wants to focus on the jazz education, and he's doing a really great job with this publication with play alongs. And I got this book and I was like, man, this is a really cool book. I need to get this. So a really great book. It's definitely worth the, how much did I pay for it? $20. $20 for this book. Definitely worth it in the long run. And I'm still working with this book. I'm still listening to some of the CDs that the person recommends, and maybe live recordings if there are live recordings, so I can see the person. So let me know what you think. What are some cool books that you know that you probably want me to do a video on and all that type of thing. I'm doing the dance again, I'm sorry. So I'm Todd Blackman, your Central Drummer, and I'll see you in the next one.